Ryan wiped sweat from his forehead as he tightened the last bolt under the fuel tank. He was alone again, just like always. The broken fuel station on asteroid X-94 was supposed to be a quick repair job. But 3 days had passed, and the silence was starting to get to him. His only company was the sound of distant solar winds and the gentle hum of his small repair ship. The air was dry, the ground dusty, and the place dead. Or so he thought, late in the evening while scanning the rocks. Near the old mining site, his helmet picked up a strange signal. Unidentified heat source detected, the scanner said. He frowned. This place is abandoned. Nothing should be here. Curious, Ryan walked toward the signal. The rocks got darker. The air colder. He stepped into a narrow cave, the floor crunching. Under his boots, the scanner beeped faster. Then he heard it, a low, weak cry, like a baby animal in pain. His body froze. What the hell? He walked deeper, flashlight scanning the walls. The smell of rust and old blood hit his nose. He turned a corner and saw it. His heart stopped. Lying there, chained to the wall with thick alien metal, was a small creature. No, not just a creature. A baby alien dragon. Its scales shimmered with dull gold, but many were missing. Its wings were torn. Its tail was wrapped in barbed wire. The chains around its neck had cut into the skin. Its chest moved up and down, barely breathing. It looked up at Ryan. Big, glowing, tearful eyes, scared, tired, and something else. Hope. Ryan stepped back. This can't be real. He looked around. No guards. No tools. No signs of life. Someone had chained this baby here and left it to die. But why? He slowly moved closer. The dragon growled a soft, broken sound. Nothing threatening. He bent down, speaking softly. Hey, easy now. I'm not here to hurt you. The creature blinked, breathing slow. Its claws weakly scraped the stone. Ryan looked at the chains. Alien tech strong, reinforced, coated locks, not easy to break. He touched the lock and heard a faint electric hum. Who did this to you? The dragon whimpered in response. Not words, but understanding. Ryan stood up. He had no orders to interfere. No law gave him the right. If he got caught messing with imperial property, or worse, a royal creature, he'd be arrested. Or killed. He turned away. I'm sorry, kid. I can't help. I'll report it. Someone better. Someone in power will come. He walked out of the cave. Each step felt heavier. He reached the mouth of the cave, took a deep breath, and looked up at the stars. Then a scream, not loud, not angry, a scream of pain, of fear, of being left alone again. He froze. It reminded him of someone, of himself, alone, in the dark, wanting someone, anyone, to turn back. He clenched his fists. Damn it! He ran back. The baby had tried to move. It had curled up, claws wrapped around its body, shivering. Ryan knelt beside it and whispered, I got you. I got you, little guy. He pulled out his multi-tool and started scanning the lock. Advanced alien encryption. But I've hacked worse. As he worked, the dragon rested its head near his knee. Its eyes closed, but a small, soft breath escaped its mouth. Trust. The lock sparked. The chain dropped. One by one, he broke the chains, lifting them off gently. No sudden moves. No loud sounds. The dragon didn't flinch. When the last shackle fell, Ryan gently picked it up in his arms. It was warm. Too warm, feverish. You're burning up. You need help. He carried it to his ship, wrapped it in the thermal blanket, and laid it on the floor beside the control panel. His repair job was over. He had a new mission now. He didn't know what this creature was, who was after it, or what trouble it might bring. But he knew one thing. No one deserves to die in chains. Especially not a baby. And especially not on his watch. Asterisk, the night sky over Asteroid X94 was silent, but inside Ryan's ship, chaos was growing. The baby dragon was sweating. Its skin, once shimmering, had turned pale blue. The wounds weren't healing. Its body twitched, eyes rolling back. Something was very wrong. Ryan stood over it, worried. I don't understand. I removed the chains. I stopped the bleeding. He tapped on his console, running a scan. The results flashed on the screen. Unknown toxin detected. Bloodstream infection origin unknown. Life signs critical. No, no, no. Don't you die on me, Ryan whispered. He ran to his medkit. No cure. Nothing worked on alien biology. He needed help, real help. But calling for it meant broadcasting his location. And that meant the people who chained this dragon might come back. He looked down at the creature. Its chest rose weakly. Breath short. Mouth dry. It was dying, and he couldn't save it alone. He walked to the cockpit, hands shaking. He opened the comms system and hovered over the emergency broadcast button. But then, something changed. The ship's lights flickered. Strange signal jammed the screen. Words appeared. Return the asset or be neutralized. Ryan's eyes widened. They're already tracking me. He shut down the comms instantly. No signal, no call. No help. He rushed back to the dragon. Spark, he whispered suddenly, giving it a name. Can you hear me? Its eyes fluttered. Open. Barely. He held its tiny claw. I can't call anyone. They're watching, but I'll find another way, I swear. The dragon blinked slowly, but deep inside. Ryan had doubts. Maybe he should have left it. Maybe walking away was the smart choice. He stood up, walked to the ship's exit, and stared at the cave entrance in the distance. I could still go, he whispered to himself. Leave it there. Let someone else handle this. He stepped forward. 1 step. 2. Then, a scream, but not from pain. From inside his head. High-pitched mental blast like someone shouting into his brain. He dropped to his knees, gripping his skull. What the hell? The sound faded, but the meaning was clear. One word had been forced into his mind. Please. He turned back. The baby dragon hadn't moved, but its eyes were locked on his. It had screamed not with its mouth, but with its mind. Ryan's hands trembled. You're psychic. He returned quickly, knelt down beside it. You called me. You begged me to stay. The dragon blinked once. Ryan exhaled. All right. I'm not going anywhere. He looked around the ship. He needed a plan. Fast. No medics, no medicine, no time, but he had tools. He had skill. He pulled out an old 4 stabilizer used for alien animals. It was dusty, but it might work. He connected the tubes carefully to a nutrient pod and gently inserted it into Spark's side. The dragon whimpered, but didn't resist. Come on, little guy, hang in there. Minutes passed. The breathing slowed. Stabilized. Ryan sank to the floor. Exhausted. I don't know who you are, or what you are, but someone wants you dead. He looked at Spark. You've got secrets. The ship's alarm suddenly beeped. Unmarked vessel approaching. 20 minutes to contact. Ryan stood, heart racing. They found him. Whoever they were. They were coming back, and this time, they weren't bringing chains. They were bringing death. He looked at Spark, still weak, still silent, but watching him now. We've got to move. I'm not losing you, not now. He grabbed his gear, fueled the ship, and prepared to jump. As the engines roared, the baby dragon Spark slowly reached out its claw and touched his hand, not with fear, but with trust. And just like that, Ryan knew this wasn't just a rescue. This was a war waiting to begin. The stars looked calm, peaceful, but inside Ryan's ship, it felt like sitting on a bomb. He stared at the radar. Unmarked vessel, 7 minutes to contact. They were getting closer, still jamming my comms, he muttered, fingers tapping the console. Whoever they are, they don't want help coming. He glanced back at Spark. The baby dragon was resting in a small cargo crate lined with blankets and old rags. Still weak, breathing slow, but his eyes were watching everything, like he understood the danger. Ryan walked over and crouched beside him. You okay? Spark made a soft sound, somewhere between a growl and a purr. Then he reached his claw and pointed at the ceiling. Up? Ryan asked. The dragon blinked once. No, sorry kid. We're not flying out yet. They'll follow. Spark pulled his hand back, but he didn't look scared. He looked ready. The trap was already set. Rosan didn't run. Instead, he powered down the ship. He turned off the lights. He activated silent mode. Then he waited. The enemy ship arrived. Black, sleek, markings worn off. No identification. It floated quietly above the asteroid base, like a ghost ship looking for souls. Ryan watched from the shadows through a cracked window. Then the airlock clicked. Footsteps. 3 figures entered. Tall, armored, not bounty hunters. Enforcers. Imperial. 1 of them scanned the room. Heat signature located. Cargo bay. The second one grinned. Told you he'd hide it like a pet. The third said nothing but drew a plasma blade and walked towards Spark. Ryan gritted his teeth. Not today. He waited until the first soldier passed the engine bay, then slammed a wrench into his helmet. Crack! The man dropped. The second turned, shocked, just in time to catch a blast from Ryan's old bolt gun. Sparks flew. Armor shattered. 2 down. But the third, the one with the plasma blade, was already in the cargo bay, standing over Spark, weapon raised. The moment that changed everything. Nitrogen monoxide. Ryan shouted, rushing in. But before he reached him, Spark moved. Fast. His wings spread, even damaged. His body lit up just for a second with a golden glow, and then fire, real, living fire shot from his mouth. A bright, sharp burst, not enough to kill, but enough to throw the attacker back hard against the wall. The man screamed as his weapon dropped. Ryan didn't hesitate. He tackled the soldier to the ground and knocked him out cold. Then silence. Only the sound of Spark breathing heavily. Wings smoking at the tips. Ryan turned to him. You can breathe fire? Spark blinked, and for the first time he smiled. A small, toothy, tired smile. Ryan couldn't help but laugh. You little monster. The message they left behind. Ryan dragged the soldiers back to their ship. He didn't kill them, but he left a message on their console. Next time you come, bring chains for yourselves. He set their nav system to auto-return to Imperial space. No tracking. No weapons. Just a warning. As their ship launched into the black, Ryan looked at Spark again. You saved us, you know that? Spark yawned, then curled into his blanket. Ryan leaned back in the pilot's seat. They'll come again, with more men. Bigger guns. He looked out the window. They think I'm just a mechanic. He cracked his knuckles. They're wrong. Ryan was fixing the ship's coolant lines when he heard the sound. Tap, 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 tap. He paused. Looked back. Spark, the baby alien dragon, was sitting upright in the crate, one claw tapping the side of the metal panel in rhythm. It wasn't random. It had a beat, a pattern. Ryan stood slowly. What are you doing, little guy? Spark stopped. Then tapped again. Same rhythm, same pause. Then again. And again. Ryan walked over and knelt beside him. That's Morse code? Spark tilted his head. You know Morse code? The dragon let out a short grunt. Ryan's mouth fell open. You've been watching me this whole time, memorizing? Spark blinked. 2 blinks. Then a nod. Signs of intelligence. Ryan tested it. He tapped once on the crate. Spark tapped twice. He tapped 2 fast, 1 slow. Spark copied it. You're not just smart, you're learning fast. Spark let out a soft growl, almost like he was proud. But then, something changed. His tail pointed toward the console screen. Something wrong? Ryan asked. Spark didn't tap this time. He growled low. Then, he spoke, a single word. Rough. Cracked, like broken glass scraping metal. Danger. Ryan froze. What did you say? Spark coughed then again. Danger. Coming. The lights on the ship flickered. The radar blinked once. Then twice. Long-range scan. Vessel approaching. Stealth mode detected. Ryan's heart raced. You knew before the scanner did. He looked back at Spark. What are you? The baby. Dragon stared at him silent now. But something in his eyes had changed. He wasn't just an animal. He wasn't just a child. He was watching, listening, and thinking. Secrets in the silence later that night. Ryan sat near the engine room, staring into the soft hum of glowing wires. Spark, he said quietly, you saved my life twice. Spark looked up from his blanket. But if you can sense ships, learn human code, speak, then you're not just a baby dragon, are you? Spark didn't answer. He walked across the floor wobbly but determined and climbed up onto the control chair beside Ryan. Then he placed his claw on the screen and drew something in the dust, a symbol. Ryan stared. I've seen this before. It was old, pre-Empire, a mark of the starborn species. Extinct, or so the galaxy believed. You're one of them? Ryan whispered. Spark didn't move. He didn't have to. Ryan exhaled slowly. Why didn't you tell me before? Spark looked up and in a voice barely louder than a whisper, said, didn't trust you. The first true conversation for the next hour, they spoke in bits and pieces. Spark's voice was rough. He was still learning. But the words came. Not many, but enough. They hunt me. I escaped. They want power. I'm last. Rin's chest tightened. You're the last of your kind? Spark nodded. And your kind were rulers, weren't they? Spark didn't answer that. He simply looked out the ship's window at the stars, as if he missed them. The bond becomes real that night. As Ryan closed his eyes on the floor of the ship, he felt something warm near him. Spark had curled up beside his chest. For warmth, for safety. Ryan put a hand gently on the little dragon's head. You trusted me, he whispered. Now I'll trust you. But if what you're saying is true, the Empire won't stop. Spark made a soft sound, and, for the first time, Ryan understood it without words. Then we don't stop either. Ryan woke up to silence. Not the peaceful kind, but the kind that feels wrong. The ship's systems were off. Power was dead. No lights, no sound. Spark? He called out. No response. He grabbed the flashlight and walked into the cockpit. That's when he saw it. Burnt wires, hacked console, and written on the cracked screen in bright red text. You were warned. The message echoes before he could react. A buzzing sound filled the ship. His emergency comms had forced itself back online. Someone had overridden his system. A robotic voice echoed through the speakers. Attention all bounty hunters. Wanted Ryan Talek, human male mechanic. Crime, harboring a galactic-level bioasset. Reward, 10 million credits, dead or alive. Coordinates attached. Claim before someone else does. Ryan stood frozen. His picture flashed on screen. The same mechanic who once fixed broken fuel pipes in silence, now marked as Galaxy's Most Wanted. All because he didn't leave it chained. Baby to die. Nowhere is safe. He raced to the back of the ship. Spark was still there, hiding under the engine's heat shield, eyes glowing softly. I heard it too, Spark said, voice deeper now, clearer. You okay? The dragon nodded. Ryan sat beside him. They're not just after you now. They're after me too. I warned you, Spark replied softly. Yeah, Ryan chuckled darkly. You did, and I still stayed. He stood up and scanned the star maps. No ports will take us now. No planet. No station, no colony. Spark jumped onto the console. There is a place. Ryan raised an eyebrow. You know, a safe zone? Not safe. Hidden, Spark corrected. The graveyard planet Spark directed him to a planet not listed on modern star charts. Zarthish, once used by the Starburn race, now considered cursed. Ships that went near it never came back. Why would we go there? Rian asked. Because they won't follow. Rian hesitated. But they had no choice. He set course. As the ship entered warp, Ryan couldn't help but laugh to himself. Mechanic. 1 week ago. Fugitive today. Visiting a ghost world tomorrow. Spark looked up. You're not just a mechanic. Ryan looked down. You're not just a baby. They stared at each other in silence. An understanding formed stronger than before. The hunt begins moments later. Rian checked the dark web channels on a stolen frequency. The bounty had already gone viral. Hundreds of bounty hunters had taken the job. Ships were moving across systems toward him. One name stood out. Dravik the Chainbreaker, a former Empire assassin, known for burning entire villages just to catch one target. Great, Ryan muttered. We've got celebrities after us now. He looked at Spark. You sure about this Zarthish place? Spark nodded slowly. It's where they took my family. Rian's heart sank. You mean, they died there? No, Spark said quietly. They disappeared. One last safe breath as the ship prepared for descent onto Zarthish. Ryan checked his weapons. A broken blaster, a plasma knife, a rigged shield booster. Not much, he said. But we'll make it work. Spark climbed onto his shoulder and curled around his neck. Small, but stronger now. Let them come, the dragon said softly. We're not running anymore. Rian smirked. You're starting to sound like me. Spark replied with the faintest smile. No, I think you're starting to sound like us. Asterisk, the planet Zarthish didn't welcome visitors. The sky was heavy like ash falling from a dead sun. Black clouds hung low, lightning cracked sideways, and the ground groaned when you walked on it. Ryan guided the ship down onto a cracked valley, surrounded by stone pillars that looked like broken bones. This place is wrong, he whispered. Spark sat silently beside him, wings folded, eyes cold. This is where I was born. The ruins of the Starburn. They stepped outside into the dust. Spark led the way. No maps, no tech. Just memory. Half-buried temples stood crooked in the distance. Symbols older than the Empire glowed faintly on their walls. This was our home, Spark said softly. Rian paused. These ruins are massive. Your people built this? Spark nodded. Before the Empire. Before your kind even touched the stars. Ryan stared around. The silence was loud. You were royalty, weren't you? No, Spark said. I was something more dangerous. The archive chamber. They entered a deep underground hall, its door sealed with light instead of metal. Spark walked forward and placed his claw on a glowing sigil. The wall opened. Inside, the chamber was alive. Floating crystal data cubes, ancient memory stones, and holograms of dragons with glowing eyes. Ryan looked around, stunned. What is this place? It's the truth, Spark said. He tapped a cube. A hologram of a full-grown dragon filled the room. 20 meters long, wings of pure energy, and a crown of glowing horns. Ryan stepped back. Who is that? Spark looked at the figure. My mother. A weapon, not a child. The hologram spoke language translated through Spark. To whoever finds this. If you find my son, know this. He carries the seed of flame, the last living memory of the Starborn core. He is not just royal blood. He is the weapon. He is the key, or the end. Rian's mouth went dry. Weapon? What does that mean? Spark turned to him slowly. My kind weren't just rulers. We created life, worlds, stars, but we also created one thing the universe couldn't control, the core flame. He placed his small claw over his chest. It lives in me now. The Empire's Fearun sat down, stunned. That's why they chained you. That's why they want you dead. Spark nodded. The core flame can awaken dead suns, or burn a galaxy. And you're the only one left who holds it. Spark's voice cracked. I didn't ask for it. I know, Ryan whispered. But now you've got it. And I'm standing between you and everyone who wants it. There was a long pause. Then Spark said something Ryan didn't expect. I'm scared of me too. The darkness still watches as they left the chamber. The wind had changed. A low hum echoed through the valley. Ryan grabbed his scanner. Ships incoming, big ones. Spark stared at the sky. They found us. The clouds broke out above them. 3 Empire cruisers descended, guns armed, shields up. Ryan clenched his fists. What now? Spark closed his eyes, then opened them, burning gold. We stopped running. The Empire's warships cracked through the clouds like falling gods. 3 destroyers. Hundreds of soldiers, drones, tanks. All this for one baby dragon. Ryan stood at the edge of the temple ruins, staring up, wind howling around him. He wore a damaged chestplate, carried a low-powered blaster, and had only one ally. But that ally wasn't the same baby anymore. Spark's final chain spark stood beside him, small but glowing. His eyes burned gold. His wings shimmered with energy. The symbols of the starburn glowed on his scales. I feel it, Spark said, his voice deeper now. The flame inside me, it's waking up. Ryan looked at him. You sure you're ready? No, Spark answered, but I'm not alone. They locked eyes. Then the Empire dropped the first warning bomb. The shockwave leveled the left temple wall. 1 man, 1 dragon. 1 stand. Ryan didn't wait. He ran forward, firing at the drop pods landing on the ground. Soldiers jumped out, confused by resistance. They weren't expecting a mechanic to fight like this. They weren't expecting Spark to fly. The baby dragon launched into the air, a streak of fire behind him. He screamed, not in fear, but with rage. He dove into the enemy's front line, mouth open, and released a burst of pure flame, not from his throat, but from his chest. It melted weapons, cracked armor. Bent steel. The throne burns inside the lead Empire ship. A royal commander watched the battle. The core flame is unstable. He's only a child. Then end him now, the admiral replied coldly, before he becomes the next Starburn king. But before their second wave could launch, Ryan hijacked an enemy drone and flew it straight into the control tower. Boom. The sky lit up. He was never just a mechanic. Ryan ran through fire and smoke, dragging Spark's exhausted body toward the temple's heart. The core flame was too strong. It was tearing Spark apart from the inside. Need to release it, Ryan shouted. If I do, Spark gasped, it will destroy everything. Then aim it. Spark looked at him, confused. Ryan grabbed his face, voice shaking. Don't be afraid of what's inside you. Use it. The light that broke the sky. Spark rose. He looked at the falling Empire ships, the closing soldiers, the throne that hunted him since birth. Then he opened his mouth and screamed fire straight into the sky. Not just fire, starburn fire. It pierced clouds. It shattered metal. It burned the Empire's symbol clean off their ships. The throne that chased him cracked under its own weight. After the flame, when it was over, only silence remained. The ships were gone. The ruins stood tall. Ryan lay on the ground, coughing, burned, but alive. Spark landed beside him, smaller now, exhausted, but smiling. You okay? Ryan whispered. Spark nodded. It's done, Ryan laughed weakly. You burned a throne, kid. Spark curled beside him. Not alone. One last line as they flew away days later in their repaired ship. Ryan looked at the stars ahead. No bounty, no home, no map, he said. Spark looked at him. No chains either. They smiled and disappeared into the stars.